Welcome to another episode of Shoes Off Talk uh, with your host, the uh, always outstanding and amazing Christy Austin.
Thank you. Thank you.
And to my right is the man on the ones and twos.
What's going on? This is your boy Floyd.
Another episode, and this one kind of goes along with the season. And it was something that Christy came up with, and I thought it was a very opportune time to talk about this, and so we are going to let her narrate this since this was her topic today.
All right.
So Christy, why have an attitude of gratitude, or explain your reasoning for wanting to talk about gratitude?
Well, first of all, Thanksgiving is right around the corner. So, what better opportunity to talk about gratitude? Most people have a gratitude practice around Thanksgiving, like the month of Thanksgiving. They think of five things that they're grateful for before they go to bed or they wake up in the morning, and that's great. Any excuse, I think, is fantastic, but it's really the attitude of gratitude that has changed my life. It's changed the way I view myself. It's changed the way I view others. It's changed the way I perceive the world. And it's so powerful. And the most important thing I wanted to focus on is not just having gratitude for the good things. That's what's really impacted my life is when you learn to have a gratitude practice, it's not having gratitude for just the good things in life. It's the things that have challenged us. It's things that we might not perceive as being so good. It's literally everything that has to encompass our lives, this journey that we're on. It has impacted me so strongly that I can't talk enough about gratitude. This year alone, this shift has happened within me. And I started this gratitude practice, I'd say about 10 years ago. Really, 10 years ago, it was more I was the, five things to be grateful for in the morning at night. There's no way I could imagine having gratitude for those challenging times, those difficult times, the people that have harmed me or hurt me. Are you kidding me? Like that, I couldn't bring myself to that. And then when I could shift it over, I saw such a powerful change. Literally, when I'm in a yoga posture and I'm feeling pain, the entire time I'm going, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for allowing me to remember what this pain feels like. I've recently got ripped off by someone, and initially it's that like gut in your stomach where it's like, oh, how could somebody do that to me, or be that way? And the second thought was, thank you for reminding me what that hit in my gut felt like. Thank you for letting me experience this emotion, for letting me experience this feeling. Thank you. Bringing everything back to having gratitude. We change the way we see the world, and the world around us changes. And I believe that 100%. So that's why, to answer your question, Tim.
I actually I not actually I agree with you to the standpoint. I always say this. We have a habit of thanking God and praying to God when we need something, but we don't show that gratitude for the tough times that we go through, because the tough times is what builds us. That's where our character is built. That's where our problem solving abilities uh, stem from. And so I have a tendency to thank God even for the bad times, because the other thing is it going through those bad times makes you appreciate the good times even better. And even if you don't get anything but extracting the lessons that come from going through adversity, um, is you have to be grateful. You have to have gratitude with that, because it all goes hand in hand. It's just like failure and success. People think that failure and success is different, but failure is part of success. And going through those life traumas and tribulations and trials it's a setup for either a comeback or moving into that next phase or part in your life. So um, we have to give gratitude for it all, because it all plays a part.
And then there's this shift that happens too. Like I said, this year it's really affected me. My theme has been gratitude. And the reason for that is because I've been practicing this for so long, all of a sudden you will be filled with this emotion of love and gratitude where it brings you to tears. I will be driving down the street and all of a sudden I just have this overwhelming feeling of love and gratitude. For what? I'm just driving. I'm just driving in the car. But because I practice that, like when I'm doing my meditation and I'm practicing gratitude and tears flow through my eyes, that I understand. When I'm looking at my granddaughter walk for the first time and I start crying with gratitude, that I understand. But then when you make it such a practice that you're literally feeling it all the time and you start crying with gratitude without even knowing where that's coming from, that's powerful. That's the way I want to live.
Yeah. What is your uh, take on gratitude, Lord?
Well, I would have to say with my gratitude is more so it's like grateful. I, it goes back to being able to surround myself. I enjoy doing um, good and bad, but at the same time, no matter if it's bad, I've been able to walk around this earth and um, set goals and achieve them. That this family period. That's what everyone is doing the best that I can to help out as I can. That's a wishful. There was a point in my life I couldn't even do it. I couldn't even help myself. So I'm grateful that I'm able to do something. I mean, what I mean by doing something, going over to somebody's house and be like, okay, you do stuff like that. I'm grateful.
So, in essence, we're saying that attitude is a mindset and it's also an action. Does one prompt the other,
I think
or is
the
is that just a couple different ways that you
there's
could show
a
it?
couple different ways you can show it, but it can start with one and then go to the other, or it can start, with start with an attitude and then start showing it by your actions, or you can start with the actions, then you start feeling the gratitude. So that's why there's so many different ways to go about having gratitude. But really, it's just thank you. Say thank you to yourself. Say thank you to others. Say thank you to all the feelings you're having, even if they're bad ones. That they come up, the pain that comes up. Most people want to veer away from the pain in yoga class. It's like, oh, I'm going to get out of that pose real quick. No, sit with that pain. Thank it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the pain. Like eventually melts away.
Okay. That pain.
You gotta be
Look,
thankful.
I'm
Thank
gonna tell you.
everything.
I'm gonna tell you. I just came from my taekwondo class,
Oh, okay.
and the stretching,
Mm.
pulling that they do, and it's like, oh my gosh! I mean, it was just pulling all that pain out.
Intense.
I was like, can I take a breather here? Can I take a moment? They don't even allow you to do that. Okay, but I am thankful for it. Why? It's gonna.
Yeah. The whole time, are you thinking, thank you, thank you, thank you? Or are you going, I can't wait till this is over?
I'm going. I can't wait till this is over right now.
So try to switch that. Just tell me how you feel the next time as you're going that, go, thank you, thank you, thank you. And see how it shifts the way that you feel. Because that's what I started doing, and I noticed the shift. I'm like, wow, I feel so much lighter. I feel so much more alive and love. I think gratitude and love go hand in hand.
Um, it's when we talk about like things that affect the body and emotions and physical pain. Um, I think we have to appreciate that because there's so many people that don't have the ability to feel emotions, don't have the ability to feel pain. And I think that is a very dark place that a lot of people get in is when nothing affects them. And so um, to go hand in hand with showing gratitude is that we have we take so many things for granted. Um, just the everyday abilities and the things that we come in contact with, people we come in contact with, we just because it's just been so forming and part of our daily routine is that we have to periodically step back and say, hey, you know, there's people that don't get to feel this way, don't get to enjoy this, especially when as it relates to people that we've lost. Um, if we put that in perspective to where uh, we start looking at things like instead of saying I gotta do it and start saying I get to do it. Once you start changing your mindset about that stuff, you start appreciating things more because we get in this daily grind every day of a routine that we do, and we lose track of the things that are important, and we also take so many things for granted, like it's supposed to be that. And I think it's important to always exercise an attitude of gratitude because it's a constant reminder, and it also reminds you of what your why is. Sometimes we lose track of why we're doing something. And even when you go through the rough times doing that, remembering what your why is helps you get through it. And so it's important that we remind ourselves with attitudes of gratitude, um, and also display it. Just randomly. You know, I do it all the time. Like, there's probably not a day go by. Like if I have apparel or a hat in the car, and and, and give you an example, I went to EOS the other day, like last week, and it was a heavy set guy. But every time I'm in there, he's in it, and he's there working out with, I think the guy is his trainer, but he's more of a friend than he is a trainer. And so I went to the car, grabbed a t-shirt, uh, put it in a bag, and brought it to him. I had never spoken to this guy ever before, but I seen him there all the time. And I had to go to him and I said, "Hey, bro, I just want to let you know that I'm proud of you." I said because one of the toughest things as it pertains to this fitness journey is coming through the door. And
Right.
so I gave him the shirt. He was like, "Seriously?" And I was like, "Yeah, bro." I said, "We don't show enough gratitude to each other in the things that we observe." And I observed, like, whenever you come in here, you put your heart and soul into this, fitness journey that you're on. And I just wanted you to know it's not for nothing. It's not for nothing. You are motivating and inspiring people that, especially the ones that come up with daily excuses of why not take care of my health and
Right.
all of
Oh
these
yeah.
different things is that, and that's another thing is like I had to give him attitude of gratitude because it's more of a struggle for him at where he was at to come in and do the things necessary for him to get himself to whatever his goal is. And so just that little act of kindness, that little show of gratitude, because we could say we could say, kindness, which it was, but it was gratitude because looking at him and people think that people that go to the gym all the time that's in shape, they just have this ongoing, like, let's get to the gym. I can't wait to get to the gym. I eat, sleep, and drink the gym. No, that's not.
no. I
That
know somebody like
that
that.
is not, bro.
I know
I'm
somebody
telling
like
you,
that. Man,
I've been
come
in
on.
fitness for as long as there's a lot of people alive, and
uh,
I can tell you, it is a struggle. It is a struggle to get to the gym because I think we have more excuses than the people that really need it because we look at ourselves and we're like, you know what, I can skip a day or two. A day or two turns into 3 or 4 days. 3 or 4 days turn to, hey, I'm good. I'm good for a while, and then complacency sets in, and then what happens is, like, you get, unmotivated. And so, I was I wanted to show gratitude for him because, I was having one of those days where I didn't want to be in the gym. There's been days where I went in the gym and turned around and left
I've done that too.
because I wasn't
Oh
motivated.
yeah, yeah.
But he motivated me, and I had to show him gratitude, even though he did not know that. I had to show him that gratitude. So it's important not to just have a mindset of gratitude, but also those acts of gratitude. So I think those go hand in hand.
Yes, and also gratitude is contagious. So if you show gratitude to someone, right in their day now he's full of gratitude for receiving that. He's going to show someone else gratitude. So gratitude, positive energy and negative energy are both contagious, but positive energy is 3 times more contagious than negative. So if you can bring that positive energy and gratitude into a room, it will spread. It will spread. Also, gratitude is the highest frequency. Need is the lowest frequency. So every time you say, I need this, you're bringing your frequency to a lower level. Try saying, I'm grateful for this. Thank you. Those words, thank you, and I'm grateful for you, or I'm grateful for this. That's the highest frequency. So I think I'd rather live in a high frequency than a low frequency. Make it a practice. Make that a practice.
Yeah.
Gratitude.
Frequency is important.
More action.
Yeah.
I can see that.
It's just like anything you do in your life. You do taekwondo, I do jiu-jitsu, we work out, you do yoga, and we don't get better at what we do if there's no consistency. And I think that we can have the mindset of it, but the act of actually doing it makes it to where it becomes more innate. It becomes more habit, almost to where you do it and don't even realize you're doing it. So it is important that we put that into action, because we also know that, a lot of people do a lot of talking, they say a lot of things, but then their actions speak differently. And I think that that's important, that your actions follow your mindset, is because that's reinforcing what you're thinking, your attitude. So, um, this was definitely the season for this topic, and I appreciate all you guys chiming in because it is important, and it is one of those things that we take for granted, and have to remind ourselves, it's like we have to have attitudes of gratitude. Because, like you said, it is contagious. There's somebody watching everything you do, even when you think that there's not.
And one thing about attitude is it's an everyday, not just a holiday, not just a holiday. Every you can put on that backpacking attitude every day. Man, don't you know what can happen? Like I'll be like seeing that. It's like you pull up on the corner, right, and somebody's standing there with a sign. First thing that comes to mind, and
I wonder
like
if they really homeless.
yeah,
I wonder if they really need this.
right,
If they
all that
ain't
stuff,
going back to a 3 bedroom house.
come on now, I'm living better than you. But then at the same time, it's not about what they do have at that moment in time. It's about what you get at that moment.
And it's because I had this conversation. We see it all the time, and people talk about um, churches and the complexity of churches and how corporate and how crooked churches are and this and that. And my response to that is like, you get caught up in the conversations that are going on around any particular topic, but say for instance church, and it's hitting on what you just said is like, we got to understand what we're there for. Like, I don't care what's going on. It could be the most crookedest church and this and that, but I'm there to give thanks to God and to have a moment with God and to be in a place where there's like-minded people there. Um, and it's not about the moment of what's going around. And just like the homeless person, it's like you can sit there and overthink it and like, you know what, he looks a little clean shaven. Did he just take his clothes and just throw them in dirt and put them on? And it's not about that. It's about your action. It's like, do something without overthinking and having a motive behind it. Regardless of what he does with whatever gift you give him, the act of what you did and the reason why you did it. You can't control what people do with your acts of gratitude and the money that you give them when it's given for a particular reason. Like, I'm not giving this to you to give it back to me. I'm giving this to you because I feel like there's a need. Now, if you don't do what you should do with, that's between you and God. I know what God put on my heart to do, I'm gonna do. Now, whatever your relationship is or what you do with it after I do it, that's something that you got to deal with. That's going to be on your heart and your conscience.
I'm gonna say something about that. You're right about that because I have a friend. His name is Michael Spurlock. He plays for the Cardinals. And one day he was at the house. And he was like, it's a toy. Hey, can you get this? He gave me a bunch of shoes. He gave me a bunch of shirts, stuff like that, right? And I was like, oh man, thank you. And then I turned around, and then I had took some stuff over there to him, and he said that those words, like, look, I didn't give you this stuff, give me something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, look at that.
But that's a natural reaction when you have a good heart,
right?
And you are appreciative and you want to show gratitude. But for the people that are showing you gratitude, that wasn't the time to do it. Don't do it in return.
Right.
Maybe like down the line, be like, you know what, I'm gonna do something. Not right now, because it's almost like you're taking away from the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's okay to do that. It's just that you got to know when to do it.
You should never give the expectation of something in return. That no. It does take away from it. And also, you can't give expecting a person to do what you think they should do with that gift. We can only control ourselves and our actions. We can't control the people around us with their things that come out of their mouth, the choices that they make. Make sure your intentions are where they should be.
Yeah, it's and that's any part of giving. If someone asks you for something, if you don't have it to give, and there's a chance that even when someone comes and asks you, can they borrow money? You almost have to give with the intent that you're not going to give it back. Yeah. And get it back. And if you give it and get it back, then that just furthers that relationship. But even not giving it back, that's a lesson learned. Right. Because you didn't say, hey, can I have $5? You said, can I borrow? So your intent is to give it back.
So it's word choice.
Well, there's a difference between let me have $5 and let me borrow $5. That one is can I have it and I'm not gonna pay it back, and the other one is can I have it with the intent to pay it back. But if you give it, either way, if you give it, you have to have the mindset that there's a chance that I won't get it back.
Well, either way you say it, right? Because look at us, like people like us, we're like having and borrowing is the same thing, same exact thing. It's like if I come to you, I say, Tim, let me get $5. That then I point back, then week 2 weeks down the line, you like, where my $5?
No, if someone comes to you and say, "Hey, can I have $5?" There's no expectation with that. If someone says, "Lend me" or "Can I borrow," there's an expectation when you use those words "lend" and "borrow." There's an expectation that I'm going to get something in return, whether it's I will get something of equal value or I'm going to get that particular thing back. And so, as the person that is the giver in that transaction, you got to understand your situation. Can I afford to give this, knowing that there's a chance that I'm not going to get it back? And either way, if you give, like the expectation can't be like, all right, you got 5 days
With interest.
with interest. That's a different business, though. Yeah, that's a different business.
I want to touch base on those because we make it sound so easy, just attitude of gratitude. And I know it's a practice the three of us have, and we're very grateful people. I knew it the first time I met both of you, just in your attitude, the way you speak, that you have an attitude of gratitude. There's a lot of people struggling with that, and I want to let them know that you struggle with it too. This the reason that we can have such attitude of gratitude is for the struggles that we have had and the lows that we've had. So I understand if you're in a place of sadness, and I know a lot of people are over the holidays. There are some people that can't leave the bed over the holidays because it's such a torturous time for them. They've lost loved ones. They no longer have their families. They don't feel like there's anything to celebrate. So those are the people I want to speak to right now. Where if you're in your bed and you can't get out of that mental torturous space that shows you the light, we love you and hold on to that gratitude. Say thank you for feeling this pain that I'm feeling right now. Hold on to because the thing is when we're in that low place, and I've been suicidal in my life several times, which is funny because I never show it. I have if you're into numerology, I'm a 3 life path, which is a positive mind. That's what I show to everyone. It's also my challenge number, which means behind closed doors, that's things that I've struggled with. I have a dad that's, cowboy. He's a cowboy that's, big girls don't cry, cowgirl up. So crying was never an option. Now I cry. Now I'm not afraid to show those tears. But growing up, I saw that as weakness. I couldn't cry in front of people. When I had my twins and I was feeling depressed, I don't want somebody to think I have postpartum depression. My husband would come home from work. I had a smile on my face. Oh no, I'm doing this all by myself. It is great. I'm not crying. Those are just my allergies. It's like no, it's okay to show your weaknesses. And when I'd go to the doctor, are you feeling sad at all? No, no, everything's great. I lied. But I still felt it. And that's okay. It's okay to feel sad. I hid it because I was afraid of what others would think of me. I cried behind closed doors in a closet, pillow over my head, thoughts of suicide running through my head multiple times, very close to doing it multiple times. So I'm not saying this attitude of gratitude was always there. I've struggled my entire life. And when you get in those low points in your life, you focus on the negative and then they circulate within your head. All those negative words that you really don't want to feel. All it takes is that one thought, the one light. Hold on to it. Grab it. That's what you need to grab. Grab onto that word, that thought, that positive person who smiled at you at the grocery store and said, hey, you look beautiful today. Grab onto that thought and let that marinate within you. Let that build on itself. Then maybe tell someone else. and that will build. And then you think, oh, well, thank you for this, and thank you for smiling at, thank you for being your amazing self, thank you. Then all of a sudden, this gratitude gets bigger and bigger and bigger to where you're looking back at the where you were a year ago or 2 years ago or 10 years ago, and you're like, wow, I can't believe I was in such a low place. I'm so grateful for that time because now I know what that feels like. I got to experience that. Never want to go back there again. I want to stay in this space right here. So this really is for the people that are in that low space. It's the holiday season. That's hard. Don't be down on yourself if you are feeling low and if you don't have family around you. But be grateful for those feelings because nothing lasts forever, and there's sunny days ahead.
Yeah, to piggyback on what you said, it is important that we send that message out to people that are struggling because this time of the year is when a lot of the emotions come back because this is the time of the year where we do spend with our loved ones, we do get in touch with our loved ones, and we, as a world, we've experienced a lot of loss. Um, you know, this year has been a tough year as it pertains to losing people. And so there are people that are stuck. There are people that can't get past the emotions. And my advice to you, from someone that has been in those dark places, is that you have to understand the people that was placed in our lives, even though they're gone, they were placed in our lives for a season, and their season ended, and yours began, and yours is ongoing, and we have a responsibility to them to carry on and live life to the fullest. Um, because that's the reason why you're still here. And something about their life inspired you and motivated you. And so now it's time to pick up their mantle and carry it. Get inspired. Um, Continue some of the work and some of the things that they were doing because it's a matter of time before it's you. We all have an expiration date. We all, we don't know what that date is, and it's it's we have to make use of our time and start paving a way and putting things in place for people that are coming after us, so they can have these conversations. Yeah, it gets to be it's tough, and you're going to revisit that darkness throughout your life. It's just you don't get over it. You just figure out ways to deal with it. And does it get easier? When you look at the big scope of it, it gets easier. The emotions are still there. You just figure out ways and things to do to help you get past those emotions. But you don't ever forget. You don't ever forget. Um, but use that as motivation and to understand, like I said, we all have an expiration date, and I'm trying to do as much as I possibly can with the time that I've been given, and I'm doing the person that I respected, that I lost, injustice by wasting that time that I've been given. Um, that is another way that you show gratitude is to use the abilities, the gifts that you have been given for right and to better um, this environment and this world that we live in for people that are coming after. Um, that's why we do what we do. That's why we're here. This life we live is not about us. It's about the people that's coming after us because someone did that for us. Our historically black leaders, the people that you know are the reason why we enjoy some of the things that we enjoy in life. Those people sacrifice. Those people sacrifice, and so we have to not let their work and their deeds go in vain. We have to pick up their mantle and continue to fight. And this thing is about building legacies. And legacies is simply, once you're gone, what are people going to say about you? But what map have you left, for the people that are coming after you to continue on this journey? So I would tell those people that are struggling this time of year or just in life, period. It's like we got to fight. We got to continue this journey, make things right for the people that are coming after.
Okay. But I always get to a point that whatever we do in life, make sure you're doing it to a point that it's not a selfish.
Yep.
There's some people out there, I get for them right there, that certain people try something new. Try thinking about others. You think about others, that right there will be
Yeah. When you stop making things about you, it'll the way the world turns, it will be for you. You stop making it about you, it would eventually be for you. And that's why I said this life we live is not about us. Everything we do on a daily basis should be something that is bettering the path and opening up that path to people that are coming after us. And if you're not doing that, then you are being selfish. You are being selfish because, like you said, it's contagious. Like when you're doing something, when you're doing things with no ill intent, and you're doing it from the kindness of your heart, that's going to be repaid. That is going to be repaid, in full and sometimes double. And so we have to be mindful of what our intent is that for the reason that it can't be selfish. It's got to be, it's got to come from the heart, and it's got to be something that's not. When you take yourself out of the equation, it's somehow the blessings shower down on you. For so I just encourage people to get out, and it doesn't have to be the holiday. We're in the holiday season. This is something that once you practice this and it becomes consistent, it becomes innate. You start doing these things, not even thinking about it. And we live in a society that's not always accepting of gratitude. Because if you go to someone and say, "Hey, I just want to tell you you're beautiful and this and that," especially if you're a guy,
See, that's the thing. We
if
can't
if
really
you
do
if
that.
you if you
Or what
go
is it?
if you go to a woman and it's like, "Hey, I just
Too
want
much
to tell
fun.
you you're beautiful and you're amazing."
They're gonna look at
You
you like,
you
what?
depending on the setting,
Pervert! Get out of
they're
here.
gonna automatically think you're hitting on them. But
Yeah.
True.
you cannot be deterred because, like we said earlier, you know your heart and you know your intent. How people take things, that's that's stuff that they have to deal with. That's a personal struggle within them that they have to deal with. But when you're doing things pure and from the heart, God knows what your intent is. Um, and they might not get it then, but they'll eventually get it.
I had there was this one lady. She was with her friends stuff, and when I walked by, stuff, I looked, nice looking. I walked by. I said, wow, I said, you very nice thing, stuff like that. And I said, yeah. She's like, well, thank you. I said, have a great day.
At least she could accept that and say thank you. There's some people that they
Yeah,
can't accept the
yeah.
gratitude. They can't accept that thank you. I think about how many times I tell my mom, "You look beautiful today," and she's like, "I don't even have any makeup on." Just say thank you. Can you let that in? Can you let the
Let
fact
that
that
sink in.
I think you're beautiful? Can you just let that sink in instead of automatically going to the negative? So there's some people they're not able to let that gratitude in, and for those people, I just want to say, next time somebody compliments you, say thank you. It doesn't
Regardless
matter if
of
you
what you
feel.
don't overthink it and
Thank
thinking that
you.
it's into, just say thank you.
Say thank you.
Just say thank you. But like we said earlier, it's like a lot of people battle things within themselves, and so to be able to accept and to show gratitude is something that like we said earlier, not everybody's capable of doing. We don't know what they've had to deal with in their lives and what their daily struggle is mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So we just have to have that consistency. I don't care how much conflict you endure or you go through or that you face while showing gratitude. You got to keep doing it. You got to keep doing it. And like I said, everybody's not going to be accepting of it with open arms because there's people that haven't been taught how to accept gratitude. Because like you said, if you came from an environment where, and I'm not saying you, but where it was emotional, physical abuse, and you were expected to not show emotions, and you were like, I grew up military. I was a military dependent for a large part of my life, and so public displays of affection was something that I even still struggle with. Then I went in the military, and they call it PDA, public displays of affection. That like that has always been something that was tough for me, and I grew up like that because of the environment, that I grew up in had, and it wasn't abusive or any of that. So I just want to put that out there. But I wasn't somebody that really showed a lot of emotions. Like my mom would tell you now, like I would never run and hug and kiss my mom. Like I just my mom would go to kiss me and I turn, and that's how I am now. Like I've gotten better at it, showing emotional and emotions like that, and public displays of affection. That has not been one of my strong suits. Like
People like me make you very uncomfortable.
no, people like you are a constant reminder that there's things that I still need at age 54 that I still need to be, working on, and I need to be mindful of that. I show that consistency of and it's funny because God will place people in your life like and bring those things out of you. And sometimes it's things that you don't want to come out, but that need to come out. And so yeah, and we talk about it all the time, being comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that's one of the things for me that I've always struggled with, showing emotions. Like wow, it's just never been me. And so if you're somebody that I've showed emotions to, uh, then that's something to me.
It's like
Oh, don't have to.
I don't think I showed no emotions. No, no, kidding. Yeah, it's and we have to be mindful of it. You have to respect people in a situation. That doesn't mean you shy away from them. It just means that sometimes you have to handle people with kid gloves. And so um, and that's a level of understanding that also is a form of gratitude. I respect and I understand your situation. And sometimes it's just as simple as just telling someone I'm here for you. And you may not need to show or have an act, but just letting someone know that I'm here for you. And what's crazy is those people that really need it most are the strong ones, are the ones that everybody depend on because they don't have outlets. They're used to being the outlet. And so I say this a lot of times on social media is check on your strong friends because those are the ones that have those mental, emotional, spiritual battles is because they carry so much of a load for not only themselves but everyone else. And so and that's not a facade. That's just how they're built. They've been doing it for so long, and for them to pour out emotions and express the way they feel is it's kind of like a sign of weakness. Like that's not me. I'm not supposed to be that person. I'm supposed to be the other person.
right.
And so pray and check on your strong friends, man, because they need it the most.
Yeah. And I just have a little story about saying real quick. I have my soul daughter that I've known since she was 18. My son brought home
Soul daughter.
my soul daughter.
Explain
They're not
soul daughter.
she's my daughter, but I didn't give birth to her.
Okay.
So
You're connected with the
I'm
soul.
she's my daughter regardless what happens in life. She will always be my daughter. She'll always have a home to stay at, food in her mouth. As long as I have a roof over my head and
So if
food,
y'all
she will
homeless
too.
and y'all need a place to stay, y'all can stay at Christy's house. She takes in stray people, stray pets. No, I'm just kidding.
So this my soul daughter, my son brought uh, brought home when she was 18, and
That did sound like a
I
stray. You just said brought
you
home.
just brought home.
Found her
Brought home.
wandering in the
Her
street
family-
and just
Well, her
brought.
family lives in another state, Washington, far away. So it's like, they all had a bunch of roommates living in an apartment, and all of a sudden, they get kicked out. So yeah, my son and his girlfriend show up at my door. So of course I let him in, but I remember meeting her for the first time and giving her a hug. She went like this. She jumped back, not even joking, jumped back. And my first thought was, oh, she's gonna be like, it's horrible that I thought that. I'm like, and she wasn't. She just wasn't raised with that kind of affection. Family lifestyle very different than mine. So me showing affection was very uncomfortable for her. 5 years, 6 years now later, and here she has my grandbaby. She gave birth to my grandbaby, and now we talk about it, and I'll go to leave, and I don't automatically go to hug her because I know that from the beginning that she's not really affectionate like that. And now she goes out. She'll open up her arms to me, and I'm like, okay, she's ready for a hug. And she told me the other day, she's like, I didn't know how much I was lacking in love and affection in my life until I came into your family. She said these family dinners we have, sitting down and watching movies as a family, I feel like they fed my soul, and I didn't realize how much that was lacking until I met you. And you hugged me, and I jumped back. I said, and I forced myself to hug you more and more and more, and uncomfortably. But it was knowing that, like, that makes her uncomfortable. Is it okay if I hug you? Like, I'll put my arms out, or just going in like I did that first time, and her jumping back, I'll open my arms like first, and I'll stand there and I'll wait for her to open her arms too. Like, okay, we're gonna hug, we're going to embrace. But yes, it's having those kid gloves. If you do meet someone that jumps like that and they're not used to that type of affection,
Handle with care.
handle with care. Let them in, ease them in,
Could you-
because they do need that love. It doesn't mean
Yeah.
they don't need it. They just don't know how to receive it.
Mhm.
It's like somebody you tell is beautiful and they can't accept it. They don't know how to receive it. It doesn't
Because
mean
they
they
don't
don't need
they
it.
don't view themselves that.
They don't see it. Doesn't mean that they don't need to see themselves that way. You just need to handle them with care.
Could you
Also, I want to say, oh, sorry.
go ahead? No, go ahead.
I just want to say, gratitude practice. I suggest for everyone who struggles with gratitude to start a 30-day gratitude practice. And that is every day, think of 5 things that you're grateful for that are like naturally on your list that you would think of, roof overhead, my kids, my job, the things
Things
that
you take for granted.
normally that you take for granted, yes, but you already you're grateful for. And then think of 5 things that have caused you pain and say thank you for those. And do that for 30 days, because within 30 days we create a habit, and then after you've gone over 30 days and that habit becomes a lifestyle, and it becomes a part of us, the way we think, the way that we do things. So maybe just try that little challenge, 30 days, 30-day gratitude challenge, and see where it goes from there, and see if it affects your emotions at all. Sorry, Sam, I know I cut you off.
No,
That's good.
I was actually just gonna make a funny and just say, hey, could you imagine Christy needing the okay to hug?
Wow,
Christy
that-
just goes in. She's like, hey, coming. I'm here. Give me 2 arms. Give me 2 arms.
Bring it in.
Give me 2 arms.
You don't need me to tell you what my love language is. Everybody who's met me knows physical touch is one of my, yes, I need that to give me a hug.
I'm gonna make her a T-shirt that says Physical touch is my love language.
So
That may not, I just thought about that. That may not go across. You got people just feeling on you. I don't mind touching you. How you like this?
Well, think about it. Like even having conversation, and then I say, "Hey, I really like your hat."
See,
Like
I'm not physical touch.
The tea did it like it got your attention to me, right? Touching you. Did it make you uncomfortable?
For people I know well, it doesn't make me uncomfortable. For people I don't know, like I don't like to be touched. Like, don't like if you're one of those people that I don't know and you talk with your hands and like, cause there's a guy, hey man, look,
dude, stop touching me.
Touching me again. I'm gonna put these paws on you. So it has become something that I'm more accepting of. It's like having people in my personal space is just like I battle PTSD too. So it isn't just that. It's just a mixture of a few things of traumas that I struggle with on a daily basis, but I also work on. You know, and so it's really more exercising patience with people that aren't as uh, thoughtful about invading other people's space. Um, but I also know that there's people out there that's how they show their emotions is touch, the physical touch. That's how. Yeah. So I just want to thank you guys for tuning in today. As always, today was another amazing show. Thanks to Miss Christy Austin.
Him.
It was
Lloyd.
it was much needed because we do need those reminders of having an attitude of gratitude. Um, and so, like I always say, man, we appreciate the comments, both negative and positive, because that's the only way we're going to elevate the show. We ask that you guys tune in on Saturday at 5 o'clock. We have some special guests that are coming in the near future that we will give you guys a prelude to prepare for. But also, if you guys are interested in starting your own podcast, message us, and we can tell you how to do it, how you can get in studio, start your own podcast, hold your hands through this, and just show you how to do it the right way. As we end all shows, love, peace, and soul. Train.